Progress.
Yeah, Chris, we've missed you. All right, everyone. So welcome to office hours today. We've got some questions and some things to go through. It's not a whole bunch. So if you are in the call and you have something, absolutely chat. So we can get to it. There should be a little chat at the bottom of the page. And you can just type your questions in there or just say, hey, I'd like to go next, and we can go through that. So from the builder team today, you've got me, you've got Dorian, Drew, and Josh. And then we've got Tim in the call as well. Okay, so let's get to it. Is Eduardo, Mitch, or bagops.exe in here? No.
I've spoken to a couple of those guys, and I think I'll be able to shape some of their questions when we get to some of the things that they asked. So
That sounds good.
We'll pick that up because I was working through a couple problems, and it'll be good to have content around it.
Awesome. Let's do it. And then I know we had a question from Biggie B in a styling question, and then from Gordon. So since they are not in the call and Alexander is here and he does have a question on data collections, let's get to that first. And then we can hop back to this. If they're not, we can see what we can answer. And then I can always just chat them the replay. So Alexander, if you are ready, feel free to unmute and share your screen and let us know what your data collection questions are.
Yes. Hello all. Are you hearing?
Yep.
Yes. First one, I want to say Happy New Year's and happy how to say Merry Christmas. And now I can sharing to introduce just a minute, please. No, this one. Everything is okay?
Yep, we can see it.
Yes, this is the Can on the Mark tutorials.
Nice.
Yes, this is the controller 1, 2, and 3. And this is the person who count the crates of, for example, fruit, some blueberries or somebody else. And in this one, on the data collection, I have some people, for example, some man or some woman who are picking blueberry, for example. And I am to, for example, if you add some new pickers, test. This is details. And all pickers have a unique URL.
Yeah.
And after that, you can to generate QR code and you can to download. When I open I can record. This is the only one digit. And I don't have, this is refresh. I tried to some data listener. Only count number 1. For example, this is the picker. This one is controller, people who counter all the pickers in this area. Are you understand me?
Yeah, I think maybe, and you said you tried setting up a data listener and it's just not working for you.
Yes, data listener, for example, working when I rename, for example, detail. For example, if remain this one.
Mhm.
Data listening are working.
Yeah, it's just the count is not. Can we look at how that count is set up in the studio?
So for this one, we're gonna troubleshoot why the count isn't updating in real time. And you're gonna check out the data listener setup first. Okay, cool. So we'll focus on that and then see what the next thing Alexander had was.
Yeah, so let's go to that row page. I want to see how the count is being set in that row. And then after that, then we can look at what listener is being called. So yeah, go to that child page.
Yes, this is the controller.
Okay. Um,
And after that, I have a
This is
pick
the
a
row.
row. Yes.
yeah, so let's look at the count. How do you set the count? I think it's just using,
Account, I set,
so right there, the text in red. Can you click on that element? Yeah.
Yeah.
And show me what you have set in that data tab on the right side. On the right, yeah. Click on the data tab, the one that has the purple tab with the, yeah, that one there.
from file and to data collection.
Okay, so it is getting it from the data collection. And then do this for me. On the left side, click the little X to close the data collections, just to close out of it. And click on the page body on the left there. And on the right side, let's go to the data listeners. I'm assuming this is listening. Okay, so that's the name. Scroll down. Yeah, I think it's because you're not listening for the count field, right?
Alexander, you'll need to create a data listener at this level on the child row page.
On this page or on another?
On this one. So add this one, and then the action group will be the page binding.
Page binding, yes.
And then the collection where you're getting the count from.
Count from is a branye.
Yeah, and then the field, click in there, and then in that select, select the second option, which is only on certain fields. And then add the listener, go ahead and create it. And then on the right side, scroll down, and then in the limiter fields, click in there, and let's select the field where you're storing the count.
Yeah, this is it.
That one there, yeah. Okay, and then now let's go to the preview, and we'll need to refresh that page. Just because new data listeners don't automatically show up until you refresh it. And then let's test it again.
This is pick.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Yes. Open URL. Close. This is only to.
So do this for me. Sometimes we have to like empty the cache for the new listeners. Can you open the developer tools? No, back in the preview. Go back to the preview. And or is there another way to do a hard reload without having the dev tools open, Drew? No,
You
right?
have to have it open.
Yeah, so open the dev tools. If you just right click on anything and then select inspect, it'll open that as well. Yeah, go through there and then developer tools. And then now that this is open, click and hold the refresh button on the left over there next to the URL. And you're gonna get a menu. Click and hold it though. Don't let go when you click on it. And then do the last option, empty cache and hard reload.
Which one? Sorry.
So you see that menu that has, or click and hold the refresh again,
It comes up like right under that refresh button.
right under it, click and hold it. And then the third option there where it says empty cache and hard reload.
Yeah,
That one.
okay.
Yeah, and then we can close the developer tools now. And then once this refreshes, let's try it again.
D, and we're sure that that data listener should have been on the limiter field, or was it add or remove?
No, it's on certain fields.
Can I try it now?
Yeah, let's try it now and let's see. I've seen sometimes where when you make changes to the data listeners, you have to like empty and hard reload sometimes for the listener to get updated. But we'll see if this still doesn't work. I'll need to look at that that preview link and try to debug it. No, it still didn't do it.
Does it matter that it's opening in a totally separate tab?
No, because the listener is just listening for a data change, so it doesn't matter where it comes from. It can even be on somebody else's computer. Now do this for me. Let's go back to the studio, and let me just confirm. Click on the red text again for the count label. Yeah, so it is from that collection and it is from that field. Yeah, I think this one I'll need to debug to see what that listener is sending. Aleksander, if you can chat me the preview link, because I'll have to debug this one a little bit further to see why that listener's not running that.
This one link.
Not this one, but the other one, the preview one.
This
That
one.
Yeah, chat me that, and then I'll have to go review that, and I'll have to get back to you to see what's happening there.
Yes, yes. Just chat.
Cool, got it.
Dorian, do you need access to the project?
Nah, because I'll just see it all in the preview.
Okay.
And I can chat him if I need access, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Yes, and I need to count this, because to count to summary on how many pickers to take, 1, 2, but only for one controller.
You need to figure out how to do that, Alexander?
Yes, yes, yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, at the top. Yeah, we could do that in multiple ways. We can sum the variables from that grid. But if we do it that way, it's waiting on the data to get set into the grid. Or we can just do a get against the filter set of that data collection. And we just have a pre-filter for the controller we're on.
Yes.
We'll need to set that into a variable, so then we can then do a length path on it to get the count.
Mhm. Okay.
Or
Okay,
actually,
maybe.
no, because we need to sum a specific field. So it's going to be a path of sum and then the field ID. So go to the controller page, which I think is that page to the left, right? Or where's this one? Yeah, go there. And you'll have to do this as a separate flow because we're going to do an extra step. So go to flows and let's create a new one. This will be for setting the count. Cool. And then the first action we'll do is a set variable. And then the target will just be current. Now we just keep it to the current page. And then the variable name, you can name it anything you like. It can be like total count. And then for the value, we need to change the type to data collection. Yeah. And then select the data collection of the rows.
The rows is Branja or
That one,
controller?
No, the Branji.
Branch. This is picker.
And for the fields, you can just get all the fields, ignore the IDs, and fields just get all of them because it doesn't matter. We're just getting the array. And then for filters, we're going to add a filter and it will be an end. And the field to filter will be the controller ID reference. I think it's the Barak ID, maybe.
This one, yes.
Is that where you store the controller ID?
Yes.
Yep. And then the value to filter with, we need to change the type to from variable. And current is correct. And the variable name will just be ID because we're already setting the data. So it's just ID, all lowercase. You'll type it.
This one?
No, ID. Replace that with just ID.
Just ID.
Yeah. And then scroll down, it's sort doesn't matter, array, that's all correct. Cool, so that looks good. And then let's add another action, which will be a set element value. Yeah, there it is on the right side, yeah. And then put a weight between the set variable, yeah. And then the element, we're gonna select that count field or text, sorry. Which is that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the value, change the type to come from a variable. And then if we click in there, we should see the total count. Yep, there it is. And then we're gonna add a path, but before we do that, we need to go to the data collection because we need to grab a field ID. Yeah, so on the left side, go to the data collections. Let's go into Branji, the second one, yeah. And scroll, yeah, that one there.
Yeah.
So click the three dots and then copy the field ID, yep. And then let's close that. And then in the path, you're gonna type sum, S-U-M, and then open parentheses. Yeah, you can select it. And then, yeah, paste that in there. And then click out. You can just hit the little X or. And then the next thing we need to do is on the left side, close out of the data collections. So we can go back to the elements and flows and go into the page binding. And we need to nest this action, which is the controller project. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this should do it.
Wait or not?
It shouldn't matter. No. And let's try it. So if you go to the preview, let's refresh and we should have an amount up there. Didn't get it.
No.
No. Do this for me. Open the developer tools. I want to see the request when it does the get for that. Or actually do this instead, because we can see the variable. At the top there, next to that elements tab, do you see the little phone and tablet icon? Click on that to turn that off. The one to the right of that.
This one?
One to the right. So where you clicked on the little arrow there's that other icon that has the blue outline.
It's like the two little boxes, Alexander,
Uh-huh.
to the
Just to
right.
just to turn off those, the mobile response. Yeah, that. to
You're
the
over
right.
in a second. Yeah.
That one. Perfect. Okay. And then right click on the controller name, like on the actual name of that first one. It doesn't matter, any of them. Or actually do the left one, because that second one doesn't have any totals,
Uh-huh.
but the first one does. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then just click on inspect.
Expect.
Yeah. And then on the right side, do you see where it has it highlighted?
Yes.
Right click on that blue, yeah, right click right there, and then
Yeah.
click on store as global variable. Yeah. And then at the top, let's go into the console. Instead of elements, we'll go to console at the top, higher in the tabs, a little bit higher. No, like in the tabs. Right now you're on elements.
Yes.
Yeah, click on
Console.
console, yeah. Okay, and then here, just press up on your keyboard.
Up.
Yep, the up arrow. Or you can type temp1, either way. Temp1,
Oh, it's like temp, like
like
TEM.
TEMP.
Template.
Yeah.
Temp one.
Yeah, and then, yeah, select that and then type a dot.
Dot.
And then type BR. And then it's that first one, select that first one, the browser object. Yep, click on that and then do dot again. And then browser form is correct. So that first one, then do dot again. And that first one, underscore vars, click on that one. And then do dot one more time. And we're gonna find that, click on the one that says total controller. That one, and then hit enter. So yeah, it's not getting the data, that's why. Okay.
I was wondering if
so-
that filter field is incorrect, because
It
I
might-
got confused there. I wasn't sure if that was the right
It
field.
might be, do this, remove total controller from that text you have there. That way it goes back to the vars, and remove the dot also. And then press enter. And then expand that object.
There's like a little triangle next to the red
Yeah,
text.
a little-
So you have to click.
It's a triangle pointing to the right. Click on that and it should drop it down and show each property. Yeah, right there. Click that. So it is there. The ID is there. Do this for me. Do you see the value for the ID? It starts with XA. Copy that value.
XA.
Yeah,
Right, you're real close.
that
to-
one there. So for ID, you see that the ID?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Copy the value, just the value. In between the quotes, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Copy that. And
Yes.
let's go back to the studio. And let's go to data collections. I just want to validate the data, and let's go into the Branji collection and just paste that value in there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not there. So let's see, close this out. Maybe the structure is different. I'm not understanding it. Click on the grid in this page down below. Yeah, click that and go data on the right, and then click on the collection list. Maybe it's different data. Oh, it is. It's a different list. It's Barak. Got it. Okay, so we need it's just our action. So go back to flows. So it's not the Branji collections, it's the Barak collection.
Yeah.
And go to, no.
That's the wrong
Back to the
page.
controller page.
Yes.
And then go to
Click on that.
flows. And go to where we're setting
Yeah.
the count. No, not this one.
Page.
It's the,
Yes.
yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Here, that collection, instead of Branji, it's the wrong one. It needs to be the Borak or Brojak or whatever the other one is. Barak.
Oh, better.
Yeah.
Picker. This is picker.
Yeah, and then scroll down. And for fields, get all the fields again. We just have to reset it because when you change collections, you have to reset it all. Yeah, click that.
Yeah.
And then let's add the filter again. And then the field to filter, click in there and let's select there it is, controller ID is correct. So controller ID. And then the value, change it to come from variable. And current is correct, and just ID all lowercase.
ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we need to go into the data collection to get the field ID. So on the left, go to there and then go into the pickers data, the Barak, the first one. No, not that one.
Yeah.
That one. And where's the count? Is that the second column, the count?
Yes.
Yeah, click the 3 dots and copy that field ID. And then close out of that. And let's go to the second action where it's setting the element value, that one there. And then click on the path where it says sum. Click on that, yeah. And then replace that parameter with the new one. Yep, and then click the little X to close it. And now let's go try it. And let's refresh. And I didn't validate if the data is even being saved, but I guess we'll see. Probably not. So those counts were like, for example, test A has a value of 1. So that should have found it, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I feel
this
like
one.
if it's the right field, it should have found it.
Yeah, let's do the scroll up and right click again on the name of the controller and inspect it again. And then right click on that highlighted blue thing and let's put it back into the local variable, store as a global variable at the bottom. Yep. And then let's go to the console tab at the top, just so we can see it better. And then type, actually, if you press up on your keyboard, it should remember it. Yeah, like the arrow up. And if now we can just type it again. So be temp1 dot.
Sorry.
Yeah, click that dot br. It's
Which
the
one?
brow object. BR. Yep, that one.
Yes.
And dot.
Dot.
And then it's the brow form, that one, yep. And then dot underscore vars, yep. And then press enter. And then expand that so we can see it all. And so it did get them, it got 10. Expand that one that says total controller. It's the second one, yeah, in that list, higher.
Yeah,
that one, expand that. So this is what it found. Scroll to the right a little bit so we can see what each of these have. Or you can expand it. Just click on like one of those to expand it. Where's the count?
No, it's that RBA4 one, right?
That is it. It's no, which is the first one. I'm assuming it's the same order. Open the one that says 2, which is the, yeah, the next one. Is that even the right order? Test. Where's the name?
At the bottom.
Oh, this is it, because it does have it.
Hey, I'm not trying to be like crazy or anything, but I did notice that the name of the field, of that field that he's counting, does have like a special character in it. Does that matter at all? The actual data field name has a special character in it.
I don't think it should matter. Some of our IDs get special characters and we do like conversions everywhere to fix it. So it shouldn't matter, but also, you know, sometimes that is a culprit.
Yeah, but here, for some reason, like that test AAA record, how's like that's showing 1, but
Yeah, it's coming back as null. There's no 1 in that variable. That's got to be the one that's coming back null.
yeah, which is weird. Do this. For that last one, copy that ID value. The one, no, sorry, the last one that you have expanded in, yeah, that one there. Yeah, copy that.
Yes.
And then let's go to the studio. Like, I'm wondering if it's not actually saved, and then open the Barak data collection and then paste that in there.
Yeah, no value in there.
Not in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scroll to the right. Maybe there's another field. Like, where's the other one? Scroll. Do you have more fields on this? Scroll to the right. No. Then how's the other one have one? How's that being set?
I wonder if that's being set with an action and overriding the data binding, and that's why the data listener didn't work too. Like maybe it's counting something else, and I don't know.
Or it's a different collection. Close this out and go to the row, the Barak row. It's the page to the right, that one. Click that, the red text. And show me the data tab again. Like, this has to come from, yeah, it's coming from a different collection. That's why. Okay. So you're storing the counts in a what's the Branji collection? Those are just the counts. Open that. I want to see the structure here. So it has the Barak ID, and this is where you have the counts. So we need to do.
You still need to sum these, it looks like, right?
So this is where we need to get the counts from. We need to sum these, and we need to filter this collection by the Barak collection.
Sorry.
Okay, so, okay, I got it. All right, so close out of this, and let's go back to the controller page and go to flows and go to the controller project. Yeah. Okay, so we'll leave this here. We might end up trashing that variable, but add an action, add a new action, and type the word transform JSON. I think we have one. Yeah, filter by array. That one. Add that one. Yeah. Okay. And the starting array, that click in that collection there. No, that's correct. Just change the collection. And here we're going to select Branji. And we're going to get all fields. And everything else is good. So scroll down. Keep scrolling down. Let's go to the next. Okay, and the starting array property, click again the Branji data collection. And then click in the field. And we're going to select Barak ID. And the filter array, in this collection, click select Barak. And again, we're going to get all the fields. And we're going to add a filter. And we're going to select the controller ID. And the value is going to be from variable. So change the type to from variable. And the variable value is just ID, all lowercase. And then scroll down. Everything's good there. Keep scrolling down. And then in here, in that last input, we're going to select again the Barak.
This one?
Yep, that one. Yeah.
Which data collection?
Barak.
Yes.
And then the field is going to be the ID.
This one?
Yes. And we're going to keep the matches is correct. Ignore empty is correct. Variable name is correct. Current is correct. And let's put a name in the variable name. You can just call it the same like we did with the variable in the first action if you want to go copy that.
Control C.
Yeah, copy that. And then let's go back to that one. Yep. And all the way at the bottom. Let's paste that in. And then let's delete the first action that's doing the set variable at the top.
This
And,
one.
yeah, we don't need that. Delete it. And then move the transform above the set value. Yep. And the field that we're summing is the bronzy. So now go to the data collection again. We need to change that field ID back to bronzy. So go to the bronzy one and grab that field, that first one, the number counts. Yeah, copy that again. And click on the sum and change that parameter. And then hit the little X to close out of that. And now let's go try it. I think this will get it now.
Wow.
There it is.
Thank you very, very much. This is
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I just didn't understand the structure, but I get it now. So
That was wild, honestly, that you picked it up so fast. I was pretty confused for most
You're
of
a
it.
wizard.
It was like, I got it.
Sorry,
I know.
sorry.
No, not at all, Alexander. I was just thinking during this, it would be so cool. I don't even know if it's possible, guys, but like if there was some sort of like plugin you could do that would change and translate everything in Builder to your native language. Is that something that could be done?
Could be done, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes.
a big
everything.
undertaking, but technically, like, we're gonna do that at some point, right? As we get big
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Gotta be
That's
done.
super cool. But Dorian, you now know a new language. So
Thank
There's
you.
that.
Thank you very much.
thank you so much, Alexander. So the only thing that we have left on this is trying to figure out the data listener, right?
yeah,
Yes.
which I captured the preview and then I'll take a look at that on my
Which-
own later.
Okay. Dorian's going to check out and then get back to you, Alexander. Was there anything else?
No, everything is okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting us look at that.
Thank
All
you.
right. So let's see. Does anyone else in the call have something that they want to go through? Feel free to bring it up. Otherwise, we can start rolling on some of the questions that we had. Okay, cool. Let me pull up the list. Okay. Or Josh, did you have a specific one you wanted to cover first? You're muted.
I think the first one on your list was the one I was curious about, and Dorian or Drew might like have a very fast answer, but it was getting the select display value from a select element from the display value and getting that, accessing that. And I figured out a way to do it like with a custom code and like adding an ID to the select element, but ultimately it's identified, it's the text value of the selected option in the select element. And I'm curious too, like how to add that to the element so that if you like select that element and you're trying to pull value out of it, text should really, I think, show up there. So I think curious what like Dorian, like what your response to like how to get text value is, Dorian, first, I guess.
Yeah, so like, let me just understand. So you have a select.
Dorian, sorry, I did just chat the exact question, if it helps.
I see, because they're doing the get. Got it. And they want the
Let me come right back, guys.
display text instead of the actual value.
Yeah.
So it can be done using the path. What is that? You have to use a query selector. It's been a while. Trying to remember.
Josh, did you have something?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen in a second. I actually new computer, so I have to exit and come back, but I'll be right back in.
Okay.
Cool. He probably has an option there.
Okay, so we're talking about a select menu, and Mitch is trying to figure out how to pull the display name versus the
value.
actual value.
Yeah, it's definitely doable.
Okay, he wants to
yeah,
then
if he-
set that into a text element.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's been currently trying to use the from element value, but it doesn't seem to quite be working. Okay, so maybe Josh has a select menu set up that we can.
Yeah, yeah. If he has one, we
I think
can.
I've got something live that will just help frame this faster.
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh.
So let me first just go over what I did to at least get the value. So this is a way to do it. I've got this page and I did a custom JavaScript function here that one, I used ChatGPT. If you guys aren't using ChatGPT when you need to like do something a little bit more code oriented, it's crazy. Like it just gives you the answers. Just a little tip. This is not. Let me hit refresh. I don't know. It's not letting me click that for some reason. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I'm not going crazy talking to myself. All right. So that is not letting me click.
It's still
Give it a
not.
second. I think it's just loading all the actions. It's
Gotcha. Yeah, you're
the
right.
optimization thing that'll be rolled out in the next release.
So I'm running this script that is just grabbing this information from the ID with the selected status, which I added to this in the JSON.
Mhm.
And then I'm doing let select option equals this window.selected text. And then I didn't really understand what I did to get what this BAPI helper does exactly, but I just copy and pasted that from somewhere else and put it here. And it put it
Yeah,
on.
it's just setting a page variable on the parent, it looks like.
Yeah. What I didn't understand was why this, like, where is, from what I could tell, this should technically be setting a variable on the page, correct?
No.
Well, unless that variable already exists. If selected text already exists as a variable, it'll set it. But that's different from a builder variable. So that's just a JavaScript variable. So you won't be able to like use that as a builder variable at all, unless you use what you have below, which is BAPI helper dot set page variable. That's how you create like a true builder variable.
Gotcha. That's good to know, because that was a point of confusion for me. I didn't even know what the difference was there.
Yeah, that line 3 is probably doing actually nothing. Well, it might work, but like it's not like, I think line 5 is where you actually set it for real then.
Yeah, I think so. The only thing it's doing is technically
I see. Yeah.
this is the value, but I guess I could just put this here,
Yeah.
there, and it would do the same thing. So this is what's working, and then I just do a set value up from the root page on selected text. I think this had to be root. It wasn't working at parent. So maybe that's its own thing. But now if I come over here, I'm just setting it into the search bar. So that's it grabbing the value here, or the text rather, from that.
And that's basically how I would have done it too. Like that would have been my answer. And you can, your JavaScript, you can enhance it one more step by, there's a BAPI helper to get an element. So you don't have to put the ID on it and do get element by ID. There's another one where I forget what it exactly is, but you can get an element. So you could do that and it'll make it a little better, but that's basically, like if I were making this on my own, that's how I would do it personally.
How would you, so the BAPI helper would, to get element ID, would it
You just wouldn't even need an ID. You can get any element. You can like get its like true JavaScript DOM version, which is what you're getting there. You can get that from by, just using an element ID in Builder. It's just like a little bit easier way. So you don't have to go to the JSON and add an ID to all your selects.
Right. That makes sense. I think, and ultimately too, this could be just a custom action that you build where you just drop down, select the ID.
Yeah, we select it. Yeah.
I think the one confusion I had that I feel like the right answer realistically is if you are doing it where you select an element on the page like this,
Mhm.
in theory, we should have like text should be like a drop down here. Is that the right way to think about how this should be working?
Yeah, I
Like
think
we
so.
can have a pre-built default, like you can do it now. You just have to change that instead of value, it's the node, the HTML node.
Okay.
And then
This
you
is
add
why I
a
wanted to run
path,
through it because
and
that's
then you add a path of a query selector. Yeah.
Dorian
And
always has
then,
the best.
and then in the parameters, it would be option : checked.
checked
Or
or selected.
not bracket, but an
It's
actual
a
like
col-
two
yeah,
dot
like-
colon.
yeah.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
two
cool.
dots.
Colon, yeah, and then checked. Yep, and then just click out of that to save that, and then you add just the word text as a second path, and then that should do it.
That should also do it. Okay.
Mhm.
Much cleaner.
Yeah, that's like I appreciate because that's really ultimate. I knew there was something in that could do it, and I think that's a much better way. So that did not do it.
It should, unless something's overriding it.
It might be
Um,
selected, not checked, right? Or do you know
Yeah.
it's
No,
checked?
it is checked. Do this. It might be some interpretation. It's like replacing the colon or something.
Oh.
Go to the JSON of that element. Click the
The action.
element set value, the action.
Yeah.
And yeah, go to the JSON. Let's see. So HTML.node query selector option dot text. Yeah, that should do it. Because that's how I do it whenever I need something like that, and it's worked before.
You type the colon, you mean?
Yeah, it's all just like that.
You can do, if you want to try real quick, you can do ampersand colon semicolon
Where am I putting that?
Instead of
the colon. You want me to chat that in here? I can chat it.
Yeah, just to encode it. It might be that.
Yeah, that's like a URL encode. So sometimes that works. I actually have to do it in the JSON.
Oh,
You can remove that from there. Or you don't even need to remove it because you're going to replace it in the JSON.
Yeah.
So where you have the colon, so in there, it looks crazy now. Remove everything between option and checked. Just delete that off. And then do ampersand. Type out the word colon.
oh, like that?
Yeah, and then semicolon.
And then copy that, and you also need to replace that in the value,
You can copy the whole thing.
because the value is where it needs it.
But up there on line 18, you'll need to replace it at the end of line 18.
18.
Where it starts with query
Oh,
selector.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I had the wrong thing copied. So I just need this right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shoot.
Nope.
All right, I'm just gonna type it again.
Not colored.
There you go. That should work.
So we
I
think
don't
this.
know if it'll work, but that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, and I'll have to go look to see, because this is how I've done it in the past, unless something broke, but doing it with the query selectors.
It didn't work.
Mhm.
Everything in the
Oh, you didn't selected? Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna
checked
try
for a checkbox. I thought it was selected myself, but I barely do this, so I don't really know.
it's still not working. I think ultimately the right answer is we can probably just add it to like this drop down here as like a text thing.
Yeah, I think we can selected text or text of selected option or something.
Yeah.
But this was like the conversation, why I wanted to just have this, because it was like this way of doing it as well as this way of doing it was like the conversation I was trying to have so that people could see it being done in a couple different ways.
Yeah.
So we'll figure this out. We don't have to.
Yeah. For now,
Okay.
the JavaScript method will work.
All right, guys. So we'll move on to the next question. Okay. Unless someone else has something, definitely jump in at any point. All right. So bag ops isn't here. Otherwise, we could check out his resonance stuff. Let me see. We could talk about this one real quick. Gordon had asked in Discord general, Where would I look for guidance on working with the API action? I want my user to enter their API key and to get an array from the API. I then want to display one element of the array as the value in a drop-down list for them to select from. And once selected, I want to return, display, etc., a corresponding element of the array. Any general, I know that's like very specific, and we should probably just look at his project and walk them through it, but any general advice for kind of how to start that process?
Yes. So when he gets that array back from his API response and he's parsing in and getting that specific object and then that specific properties value, that value, I'm not sure what that value looks like, but to be able to set that value as the options into a select, it does need to be formatted as an array. So it might take some manipulating of the data, if it's not already in an array, to convert it into an array to properly set that into the select. But other than that, the rest is straightforward, right? Once you have it in the array, you're just saving it back.
There's another part in the beginning that's maybe not straightforward, but it's okay, where basically if the user is entering their API key, you have to you have to use that as a variable or use it from an input or do something in the API call action. So that's dynamic. So there is that step there. But I don't know, it's similar to almost anything else where you're just using a value from somewhere else in an action. It's kind of like a general building block of Builder. It's not like a crazy thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it would be best for this one to walk through the actual project. It's hard to just talk about abstractly.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. Biggie B's question in UX design. How can a parent page set a style class to an element in a grid row? I can only ID that row page with _array index variable. Do y'all understand that question?
I don't know what the array index is.
I'm gonna chat it
I think I get it too, but
just in
were you
case I
gonna say
can
something, Josh?
read it right.
Yeah, I replied to him. I actually, the thing that I don't know is _array index a unique thing on all the pages by default?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not on all the pages. It's in anything in a grid is going to get that array index. So each page in a grid, but it's unique and it updates live. If you drag and drop reorder, if you do you can rely on it as the visual order of the grid. Gotcha. And you can turn it off. So there is a random circumstance where you might say on the grid properties, don't include it, then it wouldn't be there.
Gotcha. So the way I would do it was set the variable into the parent page of the array index, and then run flow on page on the grid row page that checks, does the current variable on that grid row equal the variable from the parent page? And if so, then execute any of the changes like the CSS changes that I think he's mentioning in that case.
Yeah, that would work for sure. There's a shortcut to that. That would work. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you use, so the building blocks of this, you first on the row page need to create a flow that sets the style class that you want for that row page. So basically that's on every row page. Then what you're doing is on the parent page, you're using a run flow on page action. And you select the row page and you tell it to run that flow that changes the style. But if you did just that, it would run it on every single row page because it's a grid. So there's these two fields on the run flow on page action that are variable name and variable value. That's to filter which page it runs on. So you don't even have to do any of that compare stuff. You just say run flow on page, select the flow you created. For the variable name, it's _array index. And the variable value is whatever actual index, whatever number you want to run it on. If you set that, it'll only run it on that one instance of that page, and you'll be all set.
That's also better because my way would run if you had 50 grid rows live every 50 times.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, that does bring us to time. So if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and close out the session. And Chris,
Chris needs help.
Not necessarily help, but here's a gentle reminder to everyone in the builder community. Whenever you're working on something, remember to work and whistle.
Definitely.
Nice.
That's an old adage to Drew, right?
You
That's
still
how
have
we-
that site, right?
That's
Yeah,
how we
I'm
found
like
Drew.
bringing it back. I paused on my work and whistle stuff for a while. I was like letting it fall off, but I'm bringing it back now. I got like this AI product coming out. I'm trying to pick up some client work. So
Nice. See, Chris was feeling it. He knew it was coming back.
All right, everyone. That's the jam for this week. Okay. Pause, work, and whistle. All right. Thank you, everyone. Chris, it was so great to see you today. I'm glad you were able to drop in. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on Thursday, next Thursday. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.